So I literally, so then I go go back to my room, grab underwear, go back downstairs. Same thing again, middle of the night.
So you did it twice in the same night?
Twice in the same night.
Oh my God.
Twice in the same night. I've shit myself more times this year than I have in my entire life outside of being a ninja.
Oh my God, that's great. On this episode, Dude and Tyler welcome back Chris for a second straight week as we dive into the complete 1792 lineup while Tyler discusses how he soiled himself yet again. Find out what we think on this episode of The Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, do you like our podcast? Do you like bourbon gear? Visit our website at www.bourbonhunters.com and check out our bourbon shirts to buy a Bourbon Hunter Kinsey Dram. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I am Dupois. I'm joined by, and for 2 weeks in a row now, we've got
Christopher Draves.
All right, so you're climbing up that list of recurring guests. I think you're one episode away now, right, from a Bourbon Hunter Kinsey Dram.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's the pinnacle.
Once
you've gotten that, you are in the know. You are in
the tippy top of the A list.
Yes, the tippy top of the A list. That's right. Along with what? Who's up there? Bill Murray.
Bill Murray,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right, tippy top of the A list. So, Zombieland reference, right? That I messed up last week with Bill Burr. Anyway, so we're doing 1792 this week.
Great guy, by the way. So funny guy.
Oh, Bill Burr is great. 1792. We've got a pretty crazy lineup today. The only thing I think we don't have is
are you back to the iPad?
Yeah. Nice. I'm professional again.
Yeah.
I took a little respite.
Yeah.
But now I'm back to being professional. So funny enough, the only thing we don't really have is the small batch.
Nice.
We've got 5 in front of us. We don't need another one.
All right.
So we've got single barrel. I appreciate it. We've got bottled and bond. We've got a foolproof store pick. We've got an aged 12 years, and we've got a sweet wheat. Quite the lineup, I think, from 1792. Small batch would just put us over the edge. This is just going to get us at cruising altitude.
The feet warm.
At cruising altitude, I think, is since
you're a little analogy there.
Since you're an aviator, I think we're going there.
We might get into space with this.
Yeah. Speaking of aviation, you were talking about golf before this, and did you like how I parlayed us into
aviation and golf? Okay.
There's no
shoot
connection.
for the moon.
There was no connection. I was just trying to get us there. So you had a couple stories about golf that you wanted to. I get you there every week, Tiger. Speaking of Tiger, how about that? Is that better?
A little better, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So give us a story, Chris. You got some golf stories.
Golf stories, yeah. So
while you're doing that, I'm going to pour. So where are the glasses?
Yes, we got.
You have a clean one somewhere.
Clean one right here.
All right, let's start with clean.
Yeah, so before the episode, we were talking about encounters with golfers here, and we were talking about Jack Nicklaus a little bit. So fun fact about me was with a memorial tournament that's hosted here in Columbus. In my college days, I used to be one of the volunteers, and my subcommittee of the volunteerism was the courtesy cars. So I would be the guy. Let's say a golfer flies into Columbus. Obviously they don't live here in Columbus.
Yeah.
They need a ride. They're coming either from Port Columbus, the main airport here, or Don Scott, which is the OSU airport. They're on the northwest side
with their
of town.
private planes.
Absolutely, a lot of the big stars there will fly there with their NetJets.
For sure.
Does NetJet fly in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they flew right into.
They do, but they fly into Don Scott as well. It just depends.
That's one of the advantages of their NetJets. They can get you anywhere you need to go.
Yeah,
that's great.
Short runways, long runways, don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You got to pay to play. Pay to play.
Hey.
Have you ever thought about flying private like that?
I did.
You did think about it, or you did fly?
I thought about it.
Okay, gotcha.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea.
What? Oh,
why,
really?
Why is that? Why is that?
So
to interrupt your story.
Is it more just an on-call type of thing, or what is
a lot of on-call, a lot of long days.
Yeah.
Because you'll just do little pop-up trips as they come up. Somebody calls up and says, hey, I need a charter jet. I need to go from Columbus to Southern Florida. So there you go. Boom. I live in Columbus. They call me up. They know I'm here. I'm hot, ready to go.
Yeah.
I show up at the airport 1 hour later, and here we go. We launch off. We go to South Florida. I drop this guy off, and you think your day's over, but not quite, because now South Florida,
someone else is there.
Somebody else is there.
They need to go to
They got some money. They
Denver.
need to go to Denver, New York, any of the hot spots around the LA, maybe.
So it's like Little Caesars. You got to be hot and ready.
Hot and ready, yeah.
At all times.
But do you have to take the flights?
Yes.
Could you say like, hey, no, I'm going to go home?
If you're on call, probably.
If you're on call, yes. If you're feeling what we industry term is fatigued, if you're feeling like you're not really up for the flight, you could turn it down. But that's kind of really frowned upon. It's frowned upon. It puts you on a list.
Yeah.
It puts you on a list.
You're on a list.
You're a troublemaker.
You're on You're on a list now. You don't cooperate.
But when some A-list guy like Bill Murray calls up and says,
Tippy
"Hey,
top of the A-list,
tippy top right there. I need to go from Fort Lauderdale.
I need to watch Zombieland.
I need to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I need you to get me there." And there's only a handful of pilots that can do it. And you call up and say, "I'm not feeling it today." You don't really let Bill Murray down.
No. I mean, honestly,
a lot of pressure.
I
on
would
those guys.
probably drop everything I could to take Bill Murray somewhere.
Right.
Just from what I know of Bill Murray, of being just this crazy, like, down to earth guy who just comes in and helps someone with their dishes after a party, like stupid stuff. Have you seen the Bill Murray documentary?
No.
So I can't remember what it was called, but I actually saw it on an American flight, and it was like Finding Bill Murray or something like that. And it was a guy who basically had a lot of it was chasing down the rumors of the Bill Murray stories, like interrupting a photo session at a wedding, coming into a party, helping with their dishes after the party's over, going into a bar at like South by Southwest and bartending for a night, that kind of
Bill
stuff.
Murray, really?
Yeah, and he's got a ton of those stories.
Oh, that's cool.
Where he just comes in and just
I love
becomes
those down-to-earth celebrities.
But that he seems to be. Now, does he do it for just to be funny? Is he just down to earth? Like, is it all of the above? Like, whatever. Yeah. But I love the guy. I've never met him, but I love him. I would love to meet him. And I love the little stickers, you see on the cars of just the him in the suit or whatever it is that he's wearing. I don't know. But I would drop everything for Bill Murray.
Does
very
NetJets
class
pay
act.
well?
Yeah, comparatively.
I would imagine for that type of thing, they would pay well.
They
if
do
you have
pay
to be
well.
on call and it's private
Would it
jets.
be more ideal to be like a single person's private pilot?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're flying to all the glamorous destinations. That's where these people want to go. You're spending the nights in the exactly, and they're paying for it.
Now, would NetJets also go international as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like Cannes and things like that.
Oh yeah, you're going to the Caribbean, you're going to Europe, you're going to the French
And
Riviera.
And you're flying the elite of the elite jets.
Whoever can afford it.
Yeah.
You're paying whoever can afford it.
I've only taken like 20 NetJets in my life. Just kidding.
Small cabin too, right? I mean, you're just staying domestic.
No. I was tippy top of the A-list for a minute.
I would love to take a PJ.
A PJ?
Yep.
Private jet? Yeah. A little PJ?
Yeah,
little PJ.
little industry term there. All right.
Look at that.
Spitballing from the hip.
Although, you hop on like a 6-seater and you're like, fucking, it just doesn't become fun.
Well, that's a propeller jet. I mean, that's not even a private jet at that point.
No,
Your life is at stake there.
You can land in the ocean with those.
They have, I think Honda makes a small.
They do.
Like 6-person jet.
And the
like
actual fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, how do you like?
They moved on from the Accords.
No, but this guy, like, just the information.
I just know some.
Do you just sit
weird
on? That's what I'm saying. You do know some weird shit.
And I never know that much about it either.
Hey, we have segued like a motherfucker.
I know.
Get back to your golf story.
Oh, and now we're back to golf. Wow, we're really.
Did we ever
reeling
really
in
get
here.
to golf?
The 10-pound test line here on the fishing reel.
Tyler
Wow.
has that effect on the episodes.
Wow, so where am I going here? So
You had a Tiger Woods story, I think.
I do have a Tiger Woods story. We were talking about Jack Nicklaus earlier.
Yeah.
The Tiger Woods story. We were talking Jack Nicklaus in his heyday was not a very pleasant person to be around. He was kind of larger than life and kind of really was bigger than the game of golf, and he didn't really want to be pestered with the day-to-days of a golf fan,
And
right?
I'm sure,
was that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, and I'm sure that to the...
I don't want to throw dirt on the guy.
No. I'm sure to
respect
his
for him.
friends and family, he was probably a great guy. But there's probably a burden, like you kind of said, of being that famous and that well known and that popular and that successful that you probably do have some sort of
you just get jaded.
Resentment's probably not the right word, but yeah, jaded's probably the right word for it.
And everything that I've seen now is he's just like loosened up.
Yeah,
yes,
like
Tiger,
super open.
Tiger post Rona versus pre Rona, totally different guys.
He's like a dad when the kids leave the house. You know, like when your kids turn
a little
18,
freedom, yeah.
Your kids turn 18, you're like, okay, now I want to be cool now.
Cool dad.
I remember having this thought whenever he would come to the memorial that I would try to somehow get a hold of him, and because I'm the same age as him, and like either be there and see, because I would always get tickets to the memorial and just go watch a day or two, and just kind of say something to him like, "Hey, Tiger, you want to go hang out, have some beers after, just something," because we're the same age. I had it in my head that this would actually work. Yeah. Never did, but
he always came to the memorial too.
No, he was
the memorial's a great warm up to the U.S. Open. So a lot of the top talent comes to that.
It's probably one of the biggest major tournaments.
Yeah,
right.
It's got a huge purse.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
but it's also like because it's a Nicklaus course.
It's
not Nicholson,
and Nicklaus's hometown.
Yeah, but it's
don't start me on that.
It's also voted one of the best conditioned courses by.
Yeah, it's an amazing course,
and I think
the fact that
it's not overly hard, but it's the condition of it.
But I think
pristine.
the reason for that is it's always in May. I think It's the Memorial Weekend or the weekend after or something like that. Now that they moved it, I think
weekend after.
Fun fact,
but
by
it's
the way,
always super rainy leading up to it, so it's always plush and just green.
Ah,
and looks great.
2 fun facts then. So it's interesting they call it the Memorial Tournament because they don't mean to coincide it with Memorial Day.
Right.
That just happens to be the opening for the PGA Tour that weekend. They just slot it in right there, and it works great. The Memorial Tournament really is kind of paying homage to a person who accelerated the game of golf, contributed to it, with somebody from a has-been, that they need to pay homage to.
It just happens to be on.
Memorial Day.
Back to last week, we talked about apricot. We talked about caramel. Homage, homage. Which is it? What do you guys say?
I think homage.
Homage.
I'm a homage guy.
See, I don't pronounce the I just say homage.
Homage.
I don't say homage. I don't add the Hebrewish thing to it. Homage. I don't do that. I just say homage. But there's homage, there's homage, there's homage, there's homage, there's I don't think there's homage. That doesn't make sense.
So,
that would be living at home. Yeah. That's someone that lives at home.
Tell your Tiger story.
Oh, the Tiger story. A little preface there with it. We were talking about people in their heyday, in the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of being above life, kind of being above the game, their element. My story with the courtesy cars and Memorial Tournament. So I was kind of behind the scenes, behind the ropes with it, and then whenever these guys needed a ride, I would be there amongst other guys, and we were just giving where they need to go.
Hey, quick
my
interruption.
Tiger story.
How did you get that job?
It's complete volunteerism.
So you just you just reached out and volunteered, or did you know a guy who knew a guy, or
I didn't know anybody.
Really?
I started out in college. I was a college kid. I was broke. I didn't want to pay the $130, whatever it is, for a weekend badge or whatever it is.
But
so when you volunteer,
so you didn't get paid for it, though.
No.
But you got access to the tournament.
You get a lot of perks.
Okay, cool.
So as a volunteer, you get a lot parking pass, which is right up front next to where the caddies park.
Yeah.
For a Memorial Tournament, so you get great parking, and you get I think you have to volunteer a total of 8 hours, and you get 2 all weekend passes: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
If I would have known that, I would have done that. If I would have known that.
It's a great little insider track.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of committees you can volunteer for. If you're great with kids, they have a child care program. If you like cooking.
Wait, hold on. Do they vet you for that?
Well, yeah.
Just kidding. I was just Tyler didn't even catch
he didn't even flinch.
Tyler's like, huh? It's another comment from dude. I'm just ignoring this.
Yeah.
But with the courtesy cars, they just run your background. They run your driver's record. They don't want felons. They don't want people that have a lot of accidents.
Never
mind.
Yeah, cut me off. Anyway,
convicted or just accused?
Good question. That's for the lawyers.
Would you let the guy finish?
I know, but I'm adding in my comedy.
30 minutes
We're
only 12 minutes in. Relax, Tiger. Speaking of Tiger.
Shooter McGavin here.
It's a good story, too.
It is a good story, and I'm letting him tell it, but I'm also adding in my comedy color.
So with the courtesy cars, you do get a little access behind the ropes, and you get to see these players as they finish their round because they're going to go to the clubhouse, shower, and they're going to go wherever they need to.
Do they shower in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Most of them always
I would
do, yeah.
imagine.
Really? I wouldn't fucking shower in there. I'd be going to
You
my
spent
hotel room.
4 hours in the
I
sun.
don't give a shit. I do that. I don't shower at the clubhouse when I golf. I go home.
Do you think like the NFL players and all that like don't shower at the?
That's a different story.
Unless they're in the playoffs, they don't.
That's a different story. They're rubbing up against other sweaty people. Like, I don't know. Like,
They gotta.
do they shower because they
hop on an
hang out there
airplane.
for another like few hours afterwards? Is that
And a lot of times they have to.
I mean,
Who's
you're
they?
spending.
golf players?
Yeah.
Look at their tan. I mean, they spent 4 hours in the sun just playing
I
golf
listen.
at their own pace.
What I'm saying is, when I'm done with a round of golf, the last thing I want to do is hop in a shower there. I'd want to go home, get comfortable in my own place, my hotel,
I mean,
whatever it is.
I'm going to drink a glass of bourbon after my
Yes,
round of
I would
18.
do that as well.
Yeah. I'll probably hang out for a whole 19.
Fair enough. But I'm just saying, so I guess if they had to stay there for a couple hours after the round, then I could see it.
Right.
But if they
They got
don't
the
have to stick
media.
around, but if they don't have to stick around, I would be like, I'm going to my hotel room and just
a lot of
relax.
times they'll go to the range after.
Yeah, and
They'll
continue to
occasionally
work.
do that.
Yeah.
work on some things that they felt weren't there for the
Yeah.
last round.
I
I
mean,
get that, but then
talk
why
about
would
the
you shower?
purse.
Why would you shower before that?
You got millions on the line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm sucking at, my layup shot or my sandwich.
Let's phrasing.
Phrasing.
If I'm sucking it,
Sucking at my layup.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would absolutely want to
Sure.
hit the range afterward and work on that.
Nice.
7 figures on the line.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to shower before I hit the range again.
No, but maybe after.
Maybe after.
Maybe. You
I was
might-
just wondering. It was a legitimate question because I was wondering. I didn't even think about that aspect of things. That them hitting the showers in the country club or whatever before that. Whatever. Anyway.
Let's talk about what kind of amenities you would imagine. Is
Well,
in
I'm
that
sure
shower.
they have a ton of
I
amenities.
mean, what do you think of like
sure they
tea
have
tree oil
food.
shampoo?
Oh,
I mean,
you mean
Probably
like
what kind of
fucking-
what kind of
Everything.
I'm sure they probably tell people what it is they need, and they
they're
probably go find it.
individual showers and everything like that. Too.
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about. I'm not envisioning some
Especially at that
big
place.
shower scene where there's 20 fucking golfers and they're showering in a big open area like Porky's or something. I'm actually
gosh.
thinking, like that. These are nice clubhouses. I'm sure they have private showering facilities, but I bet you, to your point, they probably all have their own things that they require to have there for the shower that these country clubs go out and get for them.
Sure.
Like Tiger Woods probably has a whole basket of things that's specific for his shower compared to Phil Mickelson and whoever else. I 100% would think that's the case.
the perfect Head and Shoulders formula?
Right?
Did you ever have to pick anyone up from the airport
Absolutely.
as part of this?
Absolutely.
So was
On
Tiger,
the tarmac,
Lots of-
just right up
was
to Tiger.
Tiger
Woods?
Yes.
was Tiger Woods one of them? Is that where the story was going?
no.
Okay. No.
Hard no. Tiger, when he flies in, he has his own personal entourage.
So he's got his own
He
driver
knows
and all that
them.
stuff,
Yeah,
and
it's
fair
very
enough.
secluded. It's
Sure.
all his
He
thing.
probably flies in his drivers, and they probably rent their own Escalades or whatever else, and then take them.
Sure.
So what was your story? You had a Tiger story, I thought.
My Tiger story. We're talking about people in their heyday, kind of just being above the game.
Yeah.
My anti-Tiger story was so I was behind the ropes and I was waiting for these guys to finish in the clubhouse. The most disgusting Tiger story I have is I've seen this guy. He walks through and he's behind the ropes. He's walking straight to the clubhouse. His head's down because he don't.
You don't want to make eye contact and have to get pulled aside.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So this dad, he reaches his kid out. This is his little 6-year-old, 7-year-old son, and his son is reaching out a ball cap with a Sharpie attached to the bill there. And he was saying, hey, Tiger, sign my son's cap. Now, Tiger obliges, which is good on him. But this is the shitty part. So Tiger, he's walking on his way to the clubhouse. His eyes are focused on the ground. He never looks up. He reaches out of the peripherals of his eyesight, grabs this hat, right, and the Sharpie. He signs it, which is cool. But the disgusting thing is he doesn't hand it back to the kid. He doesn't hand it back to the dad. He chucks it. He just up in the air. He lands in a bush. And the dad yells at him. He's like, are you effing kidding me? And he just
fucking
keeps
crazy.
walking. Now, this is, pre-Tiger going through the divorce situation.
I wonder, like, And again, we don't know their headspace.
We don't know that space, absolutely.
But
he just chucked it.
But
he
no,
just signed it and chucked it.
And that again,
Never took
on the surface,
his eyes up from the ground.
On the surface, shitty. 100% agree. But I wonder, is he thinking, shit, if I sign one, I'm going to have to sign 20, so I need to hurry up and and get going?
That's the thing. This was the behind the ropes
So
access.
it's only a few people.
So there was maybe
not
this
100
adult
people
and
trying
this
to
kid.
get his attention.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I
Very
see that.
secluded.
Yeah.
So a little shitty then.
Yeah.
I'd put that on the shitty meter about an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's
And
not
then
cool.
did you see what he recently did? So there was a girl that was at a young girl was just at a tournament with a sign that was like, my bucket list. I just had heart surgery. Like, this is my bucket list. And one was like, meet Tiger Woods, play Augusta, and then there was I forget what the other one was.
Quite lofty goals there.
Someone got the attention of his caddy, who then got the attention of Tiger, and this was like on a hole, and Tiger like took his glove off or something like that, signed it, and then walked over to the girl and gave it to him. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And this was like as he was playing. It wasn't like walking
know
off
who,
or finishing.
One of the better people in the middle of a round to watch, and I know he got his kind of canceled, if you will, before cancel culture happened. But Fuzzy Zeller was one of the coolest people to watch play golf in his heyday. He was always super engaging to the audience, to the crowd. He would always do his little stuff with the putter when he made it. But then when Tiger won the Masters and the year after that, the previous winner gets to choose the dinners, and he made the comment.
Yeah.
He was trying to be funny, but it was insensitive for sure. Talking about, I think he said hamburgers and chicken or something, because I think it was more of a cut of him being younger than anything else. But I could be wrong. I don't know what.
7 to this.
What's that? Yeah. We're 15 minutes in now, 20 minutes in now, and we haven't talked about bourbon. So we've got single barrel 1792 in our glasses right now. Let's nose it. What do you guys think?
It was good. What's the proof on this?
Yes.
Yes.
It
There's
is
a good amount of brown sugar on the nose.
98.6 proof, 49.3% alcohol. I didn't realize that their single barrel was that high.
Brown sugar. That's a good one.
A little like
Getting a
creme
lot of that.
brulee, little burnt sugar maybe.
Let's not get carried away. I get the brown sugar, but no, you're not wrong. Brown sugar, creme brulee. I think those can go hand in hand sometimes. I think that caramelized top to the creme brulee.
Absolutely.
I think you get that with brown sugar a lot of times. No, I agree with that. What do you guys get on the taste? I will say up front, I'm a pretty big fan of 1792. I don't visit it enough.
No.
I don't drink it very often, but I actually enjoy 1792 when I have it.
Especially the small batch. You're like, shit, that's $29.
Yeah, and it's better than you think it's going to be. And the other thing about 1792, I feel like it's polarizing is probably not the right word, but I feel like it's got its fans. And then I feel it's got its detractors, people that just don't like it at all.
Yeah, they're like, whatever.
But this is a Buffalo Trace product, correct?
Well, it's a Sazerac product. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, so it's the same company that owns Buffalo Trace, yes. In fact, now Barton, who makes this, actually also makes Early Times, Bottled and Bond, and regular Early Times. And so if you can't do any tours anymore at Barton, but they have like an Early Times bar out in front of the place, and you can go get some stuff there. And they also do the cream, the chocolate cream.
Barnes it wasn't very inviting.
It was just different. I think it was one of those places that was around before the whole Bourbon Trail thing really exploded.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of retrofitted it at a gift shop that was already, like, the grounds there aren't very inviting like Buffalo Trace, for example. You're right about that. Or Heaven Hill Experience, or...
There's no
real formal, like, visitor center type thing. Even though there is, it just doesn't feel like that. It doesn't have that same inviting feel. So I think that's a great comment. However, when they were doing their tours, we did go there for a tour, and it was pretty good. We were all pretty damn hungover. That was the night you, me, and Jeff went to that steakhouse the night before. And the next morning before we went to the Bardstown Library, we went there, and we were all looking at each other like, who's drinking first? Who's drinking first? Because we were all pretty toasty the night before. We did our bottle kill episode that we do every bourbon trip. So, but I thought their tasting, we didn't do a tour, we did the tasting, and I thought their tasting was pretty good. I ended up getting, what did we get there? Was it a foolproof that was available that day? I think that's what I got. And I got their chocolate cream or whatever it was, that they say to add to Frosty.
Ooh.
They said pour it over a Frosty, and it's amazing. But it's almost like bourbon cream, but it's their chocolate version of that. I've got a bottle of it back in the back. You had some of it. What are you saying ooh about? Like
I just didn't put two and
you
two
didn't
together.
pay attention because you were hungover?
Yes, I was.
Key point there, yeah.
Yes,
We
I
were
was like,
all hungover, but I was paying attention. They said, and it's the reason why I bought it. My wife loves Frosties. I was thinking, oh, this would be a cool thing to add to a Frosty. They also said you could add it to coffee with some creamer and stuff too. But it's a chocolate kind of like, it's almost like a chocolate bourbon cream.
Their version of Bailey's.
Yeah,
know when,
or their version of like bourbon cream, but it was chocolate flavored.
So when we got to the hospital for the birth of our son, Jillian was like, the second that my Theo is out, I want Wendy's, because that's what they have in the basement of that hospital. And so sure shit, like I went down there, and she's like,
what did she have?
Craving a Frosty.
A Frosty.
Yeah, she's like,
with
I'm
fries.
craving. Yep.
Oh yeah,
she
they
wants
want
like
fries.
Frosties.
Yeah, she wants. She's like, I want a
You
large fry.
You should have thrown in some of
Dave
that.
Single
You should have told me. I would have brought the
fry.
Barton's chocolate liquor.
I mean, so I thought about it because last year I had Brett bring me some sample bottles while I was in the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
And I thought about it, and I was like, I don't have any. I would need to go to Dudes to get some sample bottles, and
I could have brought you some stuff. You should have told me.
I know, but
I would have come down there.
I know, but who cares?
You were there you ended up being there for like 2 days, right?
like 3 days.
Now, private question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Does she breastfeed?
Yeah.
So no drinking then? Okay.
Well, you can just pump and dump.
Pump, and then what's the?
That's new to me.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So like if you are going to pump and dump and then you want to drink, what's the period of time that you need to wait before you drink and then breastfeed or pump again?
That I have no idea.
Okay.
That I have no idea.
So I assumed there was some sort of
But
time.
we can also like, she's saved milk as well.
Yeah.
So she can like bottle feed for 1 or 2.
Right. Pump it, put it in the freezer or wherever you put it, and then get it out. Yeah, that's what I meant by like the next time you want to either feed from the breast or pump. Like that's what I wanted to know, how long you had to wait from
That's
drinking.
That's a good question.
We should look that up.
There
should be some resource on that somewhere.
Let's rate this, or give our thoughts on the taste as you finished.
Yeah. So last week, Chris, you were here while he's looking this up. It was the week of St. Patty's Day. What did you end up doing on St. Patrick's Day? You had that English cap last time, so
the English cap last time. Just kind of celebrating, getting in the mood. To piggyback there on the weeders that we were doing the Maker's Mark, and I actually cracked open the Pappy 10 for the first time.
I've got a Pappy 10?
I do have a Pappy 10.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, I can bring it over.
Now that's the technically
entry
not
level.
technically not Pappy. Right. So it's the Rip Van Winkle, right?
The Rip, the old Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah. So what did you think of that?
Balanced, smooth.
Yeah. Okay.
All the weeded, everything.
Yeah.
Everything
Have you read
talked
Pappy
about.
Land?
No. What's
you
that?
need to read that book. It's a book. An ESPN writer did a story about the whole Pappy Julian Van Winkle thing, basically chronicling his relationship with Julian Van Winkle. So it's actually a very personal book, chronicling his relationship as it built with Julian Van Winkle, but also talking about the history of Pappy as it pertained to Stitzel Weller and what happened when Diageo came in, and all the way up to the point where Buffalo Trace started doing the distillation for Pappy. So it's a really, really good book. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I can't remember it's Wright, Thompson Wright, I think's his name, or Wright Thompson, one or the other.
Sure.
I'm getting it possibly confused. But anyway, it's a great book. I've actually reached out to him to try to get him on the show, and he has not responded. But but I would love to have him on. I mean, it's an amazing book. He throws in a little bit of politics at the end that I'm just like, what? That wasn't necessary for the book. But at the end, I mean, it's a good book. It's a good read.
Kind of give you the history behind why the name is what it is.
Well, not necessarily, but kind of. It's more about the history of Julian Van Winkle, who is the grandson of Pappy, and what they had to go through from the time when Julian's father, Pappy's son, sold to Diageo, and then trying to kind of keep the brand going and fighting through that, and then just. But there's a lot of like stuff that he chronicles while he's writing the book about, some of the things that Julian had to go through and stuff like that. It's hard to explain, but it's a really well written book, and it's written from a point of view that I would have never ever expected or thought of myself, and that's what makes it, I think, really really brilliant as a book. Is you're looking at the history of Pappy, but you're also looking into the current life of Julian and the writer of the book, and their friendship as it's growing, and you learn a little bit about the writer of the book. That's not why you're reading it, but you do, and you start to get invested in it and stuff. It's a really good book. That's all I can say. I would give it a 4 out of 5, book wise, and it's definitely, if you're into like nonfiction-y type stuff, it's a good read.
Very insightful. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go into the bottled and bond here. So we've got.
So I got no great answer on pumping and dumping, but there is.
What about?
It's basically however fast your body typically metabolizes
the alcohol.
So if
couple drinks, couple hours type of thing. Okay. I'll let you guys pour your own. This is the Bottled and Bond 1792. So obviously 100 proof, at least 4 years old. We had the single barrel before this, and this was just a shelfer single barrel. This was not a store pick single barrel that we did. The Bottled and Bond, if I remember correctly, is probably one of my least favorites of the 1792.
I think you would be. We did these way back when. This is one of our very first episodes where we did this, and I think you found this really good.
As a listener, there was a summer series, wasn't it?
Maybe.
We've done this before.
I'm not going to say that it moved, but I'm pretty excited that you just said as a listener.
Oh, yeah. It's a great show.
So how many episodes have you listened to, if you had to guess? I'm not to put you on the spot.
Just short of a dozen.
Okay, well, I mean that qualifies as a listener. I'll take that. I'm not gonna razz you for that, even though we've now put up 155 episodes. But whatever, that's fine. 12.
Oh, that's quite a low percentage.
But 12,
I should bump my numbers up.
12
Those are rookie
fine.
numbers.
Less than 10% is fine. I'll take it.
He's listened to 12 more than I have.
You've listened. That's 11 more than you have. You listened to the one.
I did listen to
where we were trying to fuck with you and tell all of our listeners to give a shitty review of Tyler while still giving us 5 stars.
Sure.
And that's the one episode he listens to. We were trying to play a joke on him. He goes to a bachelor party in Michigan, ends up getting into a golf cart accident, getting the jerky legs, all that stuff. And on the way home, he listens to the one episode where we try to play a trick on him. Like, it's almost like the universe was telling him, hey, you should listen to this episode.
Yeah, just tune in.
Like, seriously, like the one episode, we tell everyone to come in, give us 5 stars, but rip on Tyler. And the best ripping of Tyler got a bottle of bourbon.
Nice.
And that was the only one he listened to, so it was no surprise to him. We were going to surprise him with reading some of the, look at these reviews, and like reading them to him, but he had already heard the damn episode, so it was...
the nose on this is a little muted. It's the same profile?
I mean, I feel like they're all going to be very similar in profile, but yeah, I agree with that. It is muted. I get a little bit of the caramel... or brown sugar, maybe. I'm not sure.
Brown sugar, yes.
I'd say it's probably more brown sugar, than the caramel.
Yes.
Little nutmeg,
but you're right. It is muted. Yeah, nutmeg's not a bad call. I'm going to dive into this, though, since we've been talking for 32 minutes already, and we're only on our second one.
Ooh, I like that much better than the single barrel.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
So the single barrel kind of had a. I didn't get to comment on this. Had a quick finish, almost like if you're drinking a pilsner kind of beer.
it died off quick, and it had like a bite, which was unusual for the proof. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a little ethanol-y, and then, again, like a dry finish that dude dislikes. This lasted a little bit.
No,
Go back to the nose on this.
This is more of a rounder profile.
Yeah. Anything stand out there?
Now that I've had a sip, sure. Some of the, I'm
It's
still
almost
getting
like
a lot of brown sugar.
Yeah,
Still
a
getting
lot of brown sugar.
that.
I'm like pulling a banana.
Yeah, when I revisited
Like
the
a
nose
banana
after you
Foster.
Perfect.
I definitely got
Perfect
some
way.
banana, and
Yeah.
I got the brown sugar on the revisit.
Yes.
The initial one, like you said, it was
That's
very
interesting
muted.
how the revisit changes too.
It does for me. I think it's almost like your taste buds open up your nose somehow, or open it up to more suggest. It's almost like suggesting things to your nose, in my opinion. But that happens all the time. I will say the one thing that Tyler does really well is calls out the revisit to the nose.
Yeah.
So Brett and I will do the nose, then we'll start tasting it, and we don't go back to the nose again. When Tyler's on, he will.
When I'm on.
Which is like every fifth episode.
Yeah.
Even though he's a founding member of the Bourbon Hunters. That's the one thing I will say that I really love that you remind me to do is that you'll taste it and then revisit the nose, and sometimes it brings out a whole new, nosing or flavor sometimes too. So
There's what are you getting on the palate?
That's
Chris
tough.
and I were talking. It lingers a lot more than the single barrel.
I thought so too, and it's only like 1.4 proof more.
Exactly, and the bite is not as high in this as the single barrel.
I thought the single barrel tasted hotter. Is that what you mean? Yeah. I agree with that.
For being 99, what was that?
98 point something, I think, or 99 point something. It was 98.6 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. This has a nice long finish, and I get it in the chest, but it's not like it's not as hot tasting.
Oh, for sure.
As the single barrel that we had.
That's good. I like that.
The bottled and bond.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't remember it being as. I thought it was almost bottom of the barrel for us last time we tried it, but this is actually better than the single barrel in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Now, neither of these two stand out as like
amazing.
Yeah. You need to go buy this right now. But if you have if you see a bottled and bond, I would definitely pick it up.
And here's the thing: like 1792 is a good. They're not overpriced.
No.
Now maybe when you get to their other things like the sweet wheat and the age 12 years,
overpriced.
Right? But like I remember, there's the story of me finding the foolproof in St. Louis at my son's volleyball tournament. We were there for. I went to this just hole in the wall liquor store. They had no idea what they had. I go ahead and they had a foolproof sitting next to a regular small batch 1792, and they had it priced the same.
Yeah.
They had no idea what they had. And so I got a foolproof for the price of a small batch. And I told them, I was like, listen, this is not the right price. And he went and goes to talk to the boss. He's like, well, this is what it comes up as. So I was like, okay. I said, I tried to pay you full price. I said, just know that this should be more expensive than that.
Yeah.
And they had no idea. They had no idea what they had.
Sure.
It was just a complete hole in the wall liquor store. And it was over by the baseball stadium in St. Louis. It was not a place that you would walk into and think, oh, this is a nice liquor store. It was a hole in the wall.
Sure.
I mean, it was not good. But it was good in the sense that I was able to get a full proof for the price of a small batch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say this bottled and bond surprises me. It's a little better than I thought it was going to be from my memory. Mm-hmm. But 100 proof, it tastes less hot than the single barrel, which is less proof, which is surprising. That's 98.6 proof. To me, I like this better than the single barrel, I think.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't. This isn't something I'm going to tell people to run out and grab, but it's good.
Sure.
And what
if
else?
you can find it, I haven't really.
Exactly.
Find this
Well, we
much.
see small batch here a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
But outside of small batch, I don't think we see much of anything here.
whenever I go to Michigan or a couple other states, foolproof and occasionally the single barrel or bottle and bond pop up.
Yeah. I've got 3 foolproofs. One of them was a store pick, and the other 2 I got from the distillery.
Yeah.
So we just happened to be there on the day that they had a foolproof.
So I think with any of those, I mean, we'll dive into the foolproof, but I would say that whenever I've had foolproof, I'm like, those 3 are buys, especially at the price.
The price,
like,
yeah, for sure. The value,
them,
yeah,
well,
for sure.
$59.99 typically for a foolproof
I don't know that
store
I'll
pick.
have like,
Unless you get it in St. Louis, and then it's like $30.
yeah. But I don't, am I hunting for them? Probably not. But
No, but if you see
always,
them, if you see them on the
for sure.
floor,
Absolutely, it's a grab.
Yeah, it's a grab.
Absolutely.
But the and I think I'm speaking ahead of, but the sweet wheat in the age 12 years, if you can get them MSRP, I think then they're a buy. But the problem is they are skyrocketing. I wouldn't say skyrocketing, but they're way overpriced from the secondary
For the
market.
secondary,
They're not priced at what I feel like is a good value for what they should be, secondary wise. Now that's true of a lot of things, but I just
It can
don't.
be said for a lot of bourbons these
Yeah,
days.
it is, but I just feel like those are a little more, for as little as they're talked about, the price of those just don't add up to me. But that's just me. So let's finish off this bottled and bonded. Did you guys finish that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's dive into
We've got foolproof, and this is a store pick foolproof. It just says single barrel select. I don't know what it says on the actual label here. I don't remember where I even got this, to be honest. It says Star Wine and Spirits, I think. I don't have readers on, and I refuse to buy readers, so you tell me if
Star Wine and Spirits, yeah.
Yes. Still don't need readers. Good to go. It was honestly a very tough read.
You definitely need to turn some of your bottles.
I know every one of these were stuck. But I think that was due to my leak in my ceiling because it dripped down on a lot of them.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to look. Some of my shelves in there have water damage that I think I can undo with the oil.
Here, Chris.
But we'll see.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've had a couple of leaks.
He had
Oh, boy.
He's having the exact same issue I had.
Oh, boy. Don't
His
get me
came
started.
from his top floor laundry room.
Oh, wow.
Right, yeah. I can't. Top floor laundry room. So, by the way, when you're buying something, buying a house, buying property, it's great for convenience value to have the wash and dryer there on the living floor. But boy, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong quick.
Do you have a catch pan on your?
I do now.
Yeah,
I didn't before.
That should just be anytime you put a second floor laundry room, and that should just be it should be required by law that they have a catch pan underneath of that area,
or at least a floor drain,
right? Or a floor drain or something, so that if you start to get a leak, it just immediately goes to a drain and the damage is minimal. Agreed, 100%. I do too, by the way.
Do you?
I've got 2 of them.
What's the flooring underneath that washer and dryer?
So it was when I bought the unit, it was just cheap luxury
Linoleum.
vinyl plank linoleum.
That's what I have,
It was
yeah.
it was linoleum.
Mine's still.
Then you have the Luan, and then you have your subfloor.
Yeah.
Well, there's no drainage there, so if anything were to happen to that washer, whether it leaks out from the filter or from the drain
finds
pipe,
cracks and gets underneath of it.
it finds things and it spreads, and it just depends on the grade of your house. So in my instance, it grades backwards. So behind the laundry room is a full bathroom.
Yeah.
Tub, toilet, sink, all that, and behind that is it's a bedroom. It because of the slope of the unit, it drained all the way back to the bathroom and beyond that to the closet of the bedroom.
Now, did your ceiling collapse below it as well?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, mine did too. Yeah.
So it's just the weight of the water because I have one of those smart sensor washing machines where it just keeps continuously pumping water in until it senses the load of the laundry.
So if it never got there, it just keeps pumping
got there,
water.
it keeps pumping.
Oh, shit.
Correct.
Damn,
So
that
my
sucks.
washing machine unit just continuously pumped water.
Where was the leak?
2 places actually, which is kind of the devil's advocate, not the advocate, but
Right,
devil in the details
problem.
here.
Yeah.
The problem. So I had a small puncture hole in the drain pipe, as well as so I read somewhere that you need to clean out the filter in a washing machine.
Yeah, I have to clean mine every.
So
I didn't know
because we have
they had
dogs.
those. I didn't know.
So
yeah.
side note on that.
When you have dogs, you have to do it more often.
One of my wife's clients owns a business where she cleans appliances.
Mm-hmm.
So she's done ours before, and it's fucking nuts how much you should actually clean them. Like you actually
kind of the
need to.
maintenance
Well, you
side
don't-
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's
You
the thing
never
about
would think that on a washer and dryer.
No,
I mean,
no,
you kind of would.
so
but-
mine is our Samsung, and we have there's a filter in the bottom left of it.
Correct. On the
And-
front side of it. Yep.
And if you it'll give you an error message on ours anyway
Yeah.
that tells you, hey, I'm not going to work anymore until you clean out this filter. And when you clean it out, holy shit!
But there's so
Bobby
amount of
pins,
other-
hair,
The-
gunk.
because we have two dogs that are
Yeah.
both long-haired dogs, like labs.
But there's other
amount
stuff
of-
in there that you have to like rip out and pull back and clean because of all the mold for the water.
Absolutely. Yeah. The
So
hard
there's
scale
a trick to
deposits, all
that. We use a monthly cleaning tablet, and they tell you if you have a front-loading washer to not shut it when it's not in use. Leave it.
Yes,
leave
we
it cracked
Leave it
open.
open. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you leave it cracked open, and you put a once-a-month tablet in there, and it helps reduce that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I have it on my calendar on my phone that tells me once a month put in that
So,
tablet.
so
Clean it
you're
out.
going through the same issue with that.
Same issue. Yeah. So,
Yeah, he and I both live in the same condo community, so we're both dealing with the same insurance stuff and everything else.
Do you have any update on that? That's what
I
was gonna
do,
ask.
I do, and in fact,
It's a runaround.
he confirmed it with me, which a lot better news than I originally expected. Short story long. I got an estimate from my contractor, $30,000. It included some things above and beyond that were more preventative type things to keep this from happening
which
again.
makes a lot of sense.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. I
A lot
agree.
of
And I was
sense.
willing
Just
to pay
fix
for that
it.
out of pocket if I have to. But the insurance companies are going to say, no, we're not paying for preventative stuff. We're paying for the damage caused by the actual leak, which
Yes.
understandable. I get it, but it's stupid. It's short-sighted, whatever. I'll leave that for another discussion.
Very short-sighted.
Another side note on that. My mom works for an insurance company doing more of the accounting stuff. And she said it never made sense to me. Tree removal, they won't pay for that. They would rather wait for the tree to fall on your house and fix your house than to remove the trees.
Here's the thing. How many people are going to have the tree fall on their house versus how many people, if they know they can get it covered under insurance, would have the tree removed ahead of time?
Yeah.
So it's a numbers game for them,
Sure.
for sure.
Actuaries,
For sure.
yeah,
Right,
they're all
yeah.
involved.
And
with
so
that.
the same thing is going to be true of what I'm about to say. So basically, my insurance said, no, we're not going to cover any of that plumbing updates to keep this from happening again in the future. We're going to wait another 10 years for it to happen again, basically, and then pay you out another $20,000 potentially. So
And you're like, look, this is already
right. No. I
terrible math.
Trust
Hey, he's trying to be
terrible
like
odds
he's
here.
trying to be the good guy here
right
and save
and
these
save
guys
them
a lot
from
of money.
Yes,
A lot
exactly.
of money. Five
and
digits.
that's just my mindset. But so an extra $2,500 would keep this from happening again. So my insurance quoted me. So did I say my contractor said $30,000 for the? Okay, so my insurance came back and said, no, we don't think that we're going to cover the plumbing, but $27,000 we agree total loss $27,000 to fix everything that you had damage done to. And I'm like, okay, understandable. I'll pay the rest out of pocket to get the plumbing updated, whatever. Then, because we're in a condo, the condo insurance is the master carrier. And so my insurance only has to really cover the deductible, which is $5,000 from our condo master carrier.
Yeah.
Of which I have a $500 deductible. So really they only cover $4,500. And then I cover $500. And then everything above that $5,000 is covered by the master carrier.
Mine was double.
You had a $1,000 deductible.
Yep.
Well, but that's not bad. For considering the house, that's not bad.
The value. Sure.
So that being said, the HOA came in with their own adjuster, their own estimator, or whatever you want to call it, inspector, and he came back with a $17,000. So $10,000 under. Technically, it's only $5,000 under because they deducted the $5,000 deductible out of that. So technically, it was $22,000, but still $5,000 under what my personal insurance inspection came up with as an estimate. That being said, again, I called around and I was like, okay, what's going on here. So they sent me a check for that $17,000. And then I found out that I guess that's the check for what they consider to be the minimum amount they would pay out, the minimum amount.
So it's like get started.
Let's
Right.
get started. If you choose to not fix any of this, here's $17,000. But if you choose to get this fixed and it goes over, technically $22,000 because of my $5,000 deductible, we will pay the difference for anything above that $22,000. I didn't know that. So when I first got the check, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is $10,000 under my estimate.
Yeah.
And then I had to, you remember, okay, $5,000 deductible. So it's still $22,000, still $5,000 under my estimate from my insurance. And so I talked to my insurance. They're like, no, this is pretty common. They're going to give you the minimum amount on a check. And then anything above that, they will reimburse as you need. I was like, okay, cool. All right. So
When do you get started?
I don't know. I've been calling my contractor and he's been so busy. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I need to keep bugging him.
Contracts, by the way,
Yeah,
they're so
right now, it's
busy
crazy.
and they're so inflated in values, by the way.
Let's dive into this foolproof real quick. What do you guys get on the nose? I think it's pretty much the same nose as I've been getting on the last two.
You know, this
little more banana,
matches the bottled and bond.
Similar.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
similar.
A little bit more banana, I feel like, in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I've got some pizza waiting up for me upstairs. Trina just picked it up. She just got home. So we need
For
to wrap
being a
this.
store
We need to
pick.
wrap this up in like 10 minutes.
You fucking cock.
Bullshit. You said you had to finish early.
I am
anyway.
too, but just
Yeah, all right.
1792.
the nerve
That's
on
good
this
stuff.
What I'm going to say, though, is the dragon on this one,
Yeah.
it's there.
Is it really?
I
Okay.
think so.
I haven't taken my sip yet.
Yeah, take a drink.
All
I
right.
think the
So
dragon.
I'm done with the nose.
Chris, you're the one who brought up the dragon. To me.
Yes.
I like that
dragon
term.
fruit.
I love
No,
it.
dragon is in. It
Dragging
comes
these nuts
back
across
up.
your face?
Yes, that exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
so
that.
You'll take your drink and then just,
And then
whatever
someone,
you feel
and
in
then
your
someone drags their nuts across your face.
Yeah.
dragon.
No.
Yep.
But no, honestly, you take the drink and then it comes back up
yeah.
a little bit. It's
I
almost.
typically fucking hate that.
I don't think you like it either. I don't think anyone technically like it.
know
Some
what
people call it the second taste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that
You know what-
second.
Is a surefire bottle that is that every single time. Old Forester Foolproof. Their barrel strength.
Oh
sorry.
yeah, because that's not technically, in my opinion. And Jackie's ICANN used to say they only did their barrel strength because of the consumer request. However, she was like, "Listen, our bourbon tastes
happens
best at 100
at-
proof."
Old Forester barrel strength happens every fucking time. I'm like, ugh.
Do you like this?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Herbie, what's
Are you getting
wow.
any of the dragon at all?
I'm getting a lot of dragons. So
Yeah,
when
but
I
you
talk
like
about
this dragon.
I like this dragon.
Okay.
So when I talk about the full experience, I really like the elongated kind of experience.
The finish, yeah.
This is a much different taste profile, I feel like.
I felt like the nose was very similar to the bottled and bond,
Yeah.
but I do feel like the taste profile comes off stronger. It is foolproof, so it should be. Sure. And we
The
didn't.
dragon's not overpowering. It's not going to give you acid
No.
reflux.
No, it's not
It's
the
kind
acid
of a,
reflux,
kind of a
yeah.
That's
subtle.
what I get with the Old Forester, and I fucking
Did
hate
you
it.
realize what the proof is on these foolproofs? I didn't even realize.
No.
It's 125. I didn't realize
That's
it was
pretty
that.
high.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That's
I was thinking it was
punching
like
up there.
115, but
Yeah.
it's actually 125.
That's a heavy weight class.
Yeah.
It is.
It,
And it tastes every-
125 for sure.
I think the
That's interesting. I'm not a foolproof guy. Like I don't really
yeah?
like those punch above your weight class, in your face cowboy whiskeys like I mentioned
what would you
last
say
week.
that your from a foolproof perspective? What would you say that your threshold is? Typically,
You know-
there's exceptions always, but like
So I'm a big bottled and bond guy. I love the 100 proof mark, 107,
that's a
1 to
great-
100,
that's a great
107.
mark, yeah.
Love those. If I'm punching above that, the Weller full proof,
112, 115, right in that range somewhere.
115. Yeah, I don't really like
So
above.
you like the
115.
makers? Those
The-
are all
the Four
110.
Roses-
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
The Four Roses that I've had in
Those
the
are all
teens,
around the 111, 115
I
somewhere.
like those more than the ones that I've
But
had in the
now
120s.
we're
Yeah.
distinctly talking drinking neat. Now
Yeah.
there's a whole world to
Sure,
it where if
sure,
you add
sure.
one ice cube or just a
100%.
eyedropper of water
Yeah.
to change those, and that's a a whole profile, a whole
Yeah.
different experience.
And, well,
to
2
talk
episodes
about.
ago, Brett and I had what were we drinking? I don't even remember now. Shit, it's been a few weeks ago, but
Mm-hmm.
we had something, and we just added just a splash of water to it, and it immediately changed it, and it
Yeah.
was ridiculously different. It was what's the one that's out right now? The episode that's out right now. I know you listen, Tyler. You should know what it is.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it was amazing just what that little added water did to. It was just a small.
I had the Old
splash.
Forester 1920 Prohibition Edition, and
I love that neat, by the way.
Okay,
You don't need that splash anything in that one.
okay, yeah, differing profiles here. Drinking that, goes back to what I call
Taylor single barrel,
okay,
which is 100 proofer. But when we added just a touch of water to it, it immediately got better than the small batch that we
opened
had.
all those flavors.
Oh, it was
up.
crazy because
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, and I've only had one single barrel, and I was never a big fan of it.
That's the beauty of bourbon here.
Yeah, I
everybody
know.
says you can drink it as you want, and we do a lot of neat tastings.
Well,
but there's a whole world to just adding a touch of water or an ice cube.
But think
It
about
opens up
this
a lot
too.
of things.
E.H. Taylor is, most of their stuff they do, except for the barrel proof and all that stuff, is 100 proof, because he is the guy who ushered in the Bottled and Bond Act and all that stuff. So they put everything for the most part at 100 proof. Single barrels, they put it down to 100 proof, but that may not be its best taste profile.
Right.
That batch, it might be 98.5 or it might be 97. And just that little amount of water that you can add to a bourbon can change it tremendously, because the way the water attaches to the chemically...
Chemicals.
and the way it
chemical
actually attaches to
the bourbon. Yeah.
And it just is so quickly willing to attach to that, to those, I don't want to say bond, but, because Bottled and Bond, but basically the way it just changes that chemical construct of the bourbon. It's amazing how quickly it changes. Mm-hmm. So you've already poured your age 12 years? Is that what you did, Tyler?
Yeah, we're about to do a Millennium Falcon of proofs.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
You going plaid? Like in Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're going.
We had a reference to that
We're
last
going
week.
the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Plaid.
So
great.
what's the
Whenever you told me
last
that-
what do you
week,
mean by
what did-
Millennium Falcon? What do you mean by that?
roller coaster?
That makes no sense.
Well, last
Go ahead.
week we had a Mel Brooks reference, and
We
we were
did.
talking about Spaceballs, and
We're
We
going
did.
up.
But that's what Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
that was kind of out of
I
left field.
don't remember it being a roller coaster. It was a spaceship.
It's a pretty badass spaceship.
Yeah, but I don't remember it doing
Straightforward.
what
Millennium Force, not Falcon.
There you
Millennium
go.
Force,
Cedar
that's a
Point.
I
great
was
talking
that
Cedar
was,
Point.
that was a
there.
Tylerism.
That was definitely a Tylerism.
Yeah.
So have you heard the new shirt that we've designed for Tyler? The guy from Old Line Spirits helped us come up with this shirt. It's often wrong, never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
I've got it sitting upstairs on the chair. I've got to send it out to him. I keep saying I'm going to send it out. I just have not sent it out to him.
Yeah.
Often wrong, never in doubt.
Yeah.
Great shirt. That's the new Tyler shirt.
No, just
It
loud
needs
and
to be
wrong.
loud and wrong is good, but often wrong, never in doubt, because you are always so sure of what you're saying.
Well,
I think
I'm
that is a
only-
great.
I'm only so sure of a lot of our conversations because you're from Ohio, and Ohioans have such a skewed, wrong.
But you realize
but
that I am
so
very,
sure
very, very well traveled.
You are
right?
well traveled, but you still
Both of us.
Yes.
are in Ohio, and Ohioans.
I mean, I lived in
don't
England. I
have-
was a bartender in England. I mean, like
for like 5 months.
6, but
Yeah.
fair enough. Don't short me like you short your wife,
Yeah.
Tyler. All right, age 12 years. Have you poured 12 years yet?
Negative.
Have you ever had it?
No.
So we're going back
I'm
in
excited
time,
for this
as
one.
you mentioned. This is
You're gonna be disappointed.
96.6 proof. Yeah, I remember not liking this that much.
Yeah, last week I was talking about Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah.
Back in time.
Are you a golfer? I'm assuming you are, or you at least
I like
enjoy
to
golf.
think I am. I'm really.
I mean, we all
not.
like to think we are.
Right.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a Bourbon Hunters episode
So-
at Top Golf.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my gosh!
Topgolf.
Wow.
That would actually be a fantastic place to do it.
Yeah, it would, because you hit and you come back and you talk and
Yes.
and we continue the conversation.
100%.
Let's do that soon. Let's do that soon. Like soon.
That sounds like a wonderful
Let's do
idea.
that soon.
Wonderful idea.
I think if we had Top Golf in the title, I think that would be.
Instant. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we'd just that'd be fun.
But right now it's
editing hell, but
28 degrees,
Jeff would for sure
But they have
overcast,
the heaters.
windy.
They have the heaters over you. It's fun. It's still good in a Top
It
Golf.
is. It is very, very warm.
It's comfortable,
Is it? Okay.
even though it's cold outside. You can do it all
I was
year
going to
long.
suggest a Memorial Tournament Special Edition.
That's coming up soon. Let's do that.
Yeah.
What is the last? I feel like you've done.
We've already done daylight savings
Here's
time.
the thing.
So
My
many of
wife
these
is
fun
going to
things in your
Florida.
life that I'm like, why don't you do these anymore?
Like what?
And now you don't have.
Speaking of.
Young kids.
No, go ahead.
Going to the memorial. Let's go to the memorial.
I'll go to the memorial
Yeah.
with you. I'll go to Applebee's with you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a Chili's guy, but
You know what that was
we'll
from?
get the
You
same
know what movie
thing.
that was from?
No.
I'd go to Applebee's with you. You don't know what that's
it's
from?
over my head.
Couples Retreat.
No.
Holy shit, that's a great
Oh,
movie.
so it doesn't
Like,
age me.
and it's not
I
even-
know of the movie. I just didn't
Vince
get the,
Vaughn,
yeah.
Jon Favreau back together again from Swingers. Holy shit. And the breakup, I think, with Jennifer Aniston, they were in that movie together, kind of. Jon Favreau was the actual bartender in that.
Who?
Jon Favreau.
Okay. Jean Favreau.
Jean Favreau?
Jean Favreau.
Jean-Paul. All right, age 12 years. Let's nose this.
So we're not talking Dom Perignon here with the
Dude's got some
accent.
pizza now. All of a sudden, he's
Yeah.
got a burrito.
The fucking clock has started, guys. I got
Yeah.
pizza upstairs.
What kind of pizza?
Donato's, your favorite.
Oh my gosh, Donato, that's so good.
Fucking Ohio trash. It's fucking
No,
Ohio
it's
trash.
delicious.
That St. Louis style pizza, you don't like it?
No, it's trash.
He's a Detroit pizza guy.
Jets all day.
Jets is
okay.
Jets
I thought
is
you said
okay.
Little Caesars, by
No,
the way.
no,
No,
Little
That was
Caesars.
the hot and ready shit. that you-
That's
we
the
call-
hot
we
and
said
ready
hot and
thing.
ready
That's
from
No,
Jets.
we
it.
called the hot and sleazies.
hot and sleazy.
Don't they come from Detroit, by the way?
They
Or
are.
Michigan?
They're
I
Little
thought
Caesars?
so.
They
Yeah.
are. They
But
are. That's why it's
in-
trash.
in
That's
college-
trash.
terrible.
Absolutely.
In
Absolute
college-
trash. Anything from Michigan, pizza-wise, is trash.
No. Detroit's
More
not-
than more than just
the best.
pizza.
Jets, Domino's, all that shit, it's all trash.
Their football teams
Domino's
are trash. too.
is-
trash. It's trash.
For the record,
It's bad.
football, basketball, ice hockey,
Yeah,
all of them.
all
they're
trash. Trash. 100% trash. Hockey, they're
Head coaches, assistant
they're the
coaches,
worst in
trash.
hockey. Tyler's giving us faces like, but you're a
There
Michigan,
was
you're a Michigan
no
State
better
fan.
value.
Sonny,
you.
Sonny
There.
Milano, by the way,
Hey,
former Blue
Hey,
Jacket.
He's a Michigan State fan, by the way. Not a
Good.
Michigan fan.
Oh, good. A Lansing guy.
We
All
can
right.
kind of be friends,
Yeah, we
right?
can-
That's
we
why
can-
he's on
no,
the show.
it's not kind of. We
But
can be
hey,
friends. You know.
ask him where his favorite liquor store is located.
It's in Ann Arbor.
Motherfucker.
So Tom, I was gonna say
Brady,
Tom
motherfucker.
is a no.
Tom
Tom.
Izzo.
I was gonna say Tom Izzo's hookup spot, but
yeah,
He let me
I don't
down.
think he goes to
Thomas.
Ann Arbor to buy his liquor. I don't
No,
think it's that.
no way.
Ann Arbor's a fucking whore.
it's a dump. He didn't even nose it. We're talking about
He
Michigan.
just
and
dove
he's
right
just,
into it.
yeah.
It had such a muted nose, and maybe it's because we're on.
It is
4,
muted. You're right.
but it is.
So
You're on
here they
4.
are.
We're on
You
like
get-
we're
you
on
get-
9.
So
Well,
yeah. So as you
behind
have this
behind the curtain again.
it's definitely more oaky. You definitely get the age.
on the taste, right?
Yes. But what's
Wow.
crazy
On the
for
nose.
You know
12
what?
years,
I actually like this more than I remember liking it.
same. But and I think for what's crazy is for the age of this, the proof actually might be okay.
Yeah. No, I so here's the thing with me about very
It's
ultra
not very dark for 12 years.
ultra aged.
No,
well,
it's
the
not.
reason why it's not very dark is probably because they proofed it down to 96
You're
proof.
right.
So ultra-aged bourbon to me can go two ways, and I think Elijah Craig 18 is a perfect example of this.
Yeah.
I know Jason from the Mash and Drum. This is where he and I kind of disagree about Elijah Craig 18. He thinks it's trash. He wants it to be a higher proof. He wants it to be a little bit more than I think. What is Elijah Craig 18? Is it 80,
It's like-
80 proof or something or 90 proof?
It's
low.
fucking.
It's low.
Super low. Like,
But
84.
here's my thinking about that. Two reasons. Economically, the barrel's going to be almost empty at 18 years. Right?
Angel share.
And it's a single barrel.
Man,
So-
angels are thirsty, aren't they?
They are. I'm fucking
Those
thirsty.
fucking
So
bitches.
angels have to be really thirsty. I mean, they're just sitting up there for an eternity. But that barrel's pretty empty after 18 years.
Right.
So they have to water that down to make something out of that, right? To make it economical from a bottling perspective. If you do a barrel proof at 18 years, you're not going to get but maybe 80 bottles, maybe 100,
Yeah.
maybe 100 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So I get the proofing down portion of it, but here's the other thing about the proofing down portion of it is I think that it removes the excess wood flavor.
100% agree.
And so that's the other part
It's
of
not
it.
going to stand out as much.
The wood's not going to, because you're going to water it down a little bit, and the wood's not going to be nearly as much of a frontline, player in the taste and stuff like that. And I think that's important, because for me, wood is not. It shouldn't be the forefront. It should be.
There's a lot of people that have something older
Yeah.
that are like, I love that oaky flavor.
And that's fine. And
That's
fine.
what I was
That's
talking about
fine. Some
last week
people-
with the cowboy whiskeys.
Yeah.
It's kind of upfront in your face.
But that's the thing about
Brash.
the cowboy whiskeys is you're talking Texas probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, those are so hot. What I mean by hot is
touch a tiny.
touch the hiney. Temperature-wise, down in Texas, it's always in interaction with the oak, with the wood. In Kentucky, you've got the ins, the outs, because it gets cold, it gets warm, it gets cold, it gets warm. In Texas, that never happens.
Weather patterns.
So what happens in Texas is you skip the oxidation, but you get the maturation from the wood quickly. Mm-hmm. So you don't get the oxidation as fast. You don't get the oxidation that an 18-year-old bourbon or a 12-year-old bourbon is going to get in Kentucky. But the color of it after 5 or 6 years is brown. Mm-hmm. It's dark because of its interaction with the wood is constant because of the heat. And so it gets that oak maturation quickly, but it doesn't get the oxidation maturation as quickly. So I feel like you're getting half the equation. And there's a huge
kind of interesting point there. Like when I'm looking at the bottle lineup here, the aged 12 year, it's not as dark as what you're looking at with the single barrel or the bottled and bond.
Proof. It's the least proof.
It's the least proof.
So that's part of it.
But you assume like the longer the aging process, the darker it's going to be because it's soaking up more of those wood characteristics.
But they're adding water to it to proof it down, so it's going to lighten it up a little.
Is that an economics thing? I mean, you're just trying to pump more of that out there.
After 12 years, you're going to have
because the angel share,
so they want to get as many bottles as they can to it. So they proof it down to a place.
It's just a really interesting talking point here.
No, and here's the thing. I've only seen one bottle of age 12 years, and that's yours. I don't know if it's different proof every time, or year to year, or whatever, or barrel to barrel, or however they batch it. But that's going to be a part of it. Do they proof it down to a point where they think it tastes good and it's not too oaky or whatever? I don't know. That's the part I don't know. I don't know about the 1792
it's up to
age 12 years.
Right. So the question is the master's distiller involved? Is he looking for a specific taste profile?
Right. Or is there a Jackie Zykan behind the scenes that's a master taster that's looking for a certain taste? Yeah, I don't know.
What else do you get on the tongue with this?
To be honest,
I get a lot of cooking spices.
I did. The baking spices I got, it was just to me, it was a combination of a lot of flavors that were very, very unspecific or ambiguous.
Yes.
So there was,
it's much better than I remember.
Me too. I 100% agree with that. Here's the thing. So one thing I love about Old Forester, for example, Signature 100, you immediately taste banana. You taste all that stuff right out of the gates. With this one, there were just so many ambiguous flavors.
Yeah.
There's a complexity there, but it's almost like a complexity you can't put your finger on.
That's with this. Sorry.
No,
this whole
nail
lineup,
on the head right there.
This whole lineup, you're like, this is good, but there's nothing about the brand that like sticks out that is like, boom,
amazing.
This is what I'm going to get every single time.
There's not an amazing jump out at yeah. No, I agree with that.
Like there's
but
a
it's
lot of stuff
it's
that we've
solid.
had. Yes.
It's solid.
There's a lot of stuff that we've
it's a great
tried that we're like
there.
Yeah, I agree.
That's okay. These are all good for sure, but there's
I'd say they're all better than average.
Yes.
But like you said, there's not a single one of these that has like this crazy jump out at you flavor to it. Now, I think the sweet wheat is the one place where we're going to see an exception to that.
Yes.
That we're pouring next.
And you said you don't really enjoy it that much?
In the past, I've not enjoyed the sweet wheat as much as everyone has made a big, they clamor about this. Like people go after the sweet wheat like it's going out of style.
Have you had it?
I'm raising my hand. I have a lot of these.
You have a lot of them? How many of them do you have?
3.
It's
your only bottle, right?
I am a drinker.
Left, right?
I just finished my other one to open this one.
Right, you had 2. This is your last bottle, right?
Yeah.
Britt and Heath had 1, or if not 2.
I gave them one.
But I remember them going like nuts about this.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So a lot of people go nuts for this, and I'm a wheat guy. I
me
love
too.
the wheated bourbon.
I like wheated bourbons too.
You know why?
This is 91.2 proof.
You know,
so
honestly,
this is the least proof of all of them.
I kind of hate admitting that because a lot of people will assume Pappy, wheat, weeded Wellers.
Yeah, but
a lot of people are hard to come across.
Weller, Pappy, Makers, Rebel.
I'm a big Makers guy.
Do you like Rebel?
How
did you like that Rebel we started off with tonight? The Rebel 10.
Delicious,
right? Or
yeah,
I should say
well balanced.
Last week,
well balanced.
It was well balanced.
No, I love the Rebel 10. Yeah. I know it's not technically their distillate. I think it comes from
Big Lux Row.
From my opinion of Weeders, it gives an opportunity for well balanced. You could have like a quick finish. You can have a long finish.
The problem with
but it's soft up front.
Usually, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And the thing about wheat, any type of wheat bourbon is it takes a little bit longer for it to mature versus rye, for example. Rye whiskeys, rye bourbons, all generally mature a little bit faster. Wheated whiskeys, wheated bourbons take a little bit longer to mature. So I get, like speed to market. Sometimes you get some aged or youthful wheat, and I just don't think that they necessarily give a lot of what's the phrase I'm thinking of? They don't give a lot of credit to what wheat can be. When you let wheat age and you let wheat do its thing a little bit longer than what a rye would do. If you're doing a 5-year rye, I would say you need to probably be like a 6 to 8 year wheat to be equivalent.
Sure.
As far as the maturation and the complexity and things like that for it to mature.
Just because rye is more kind of a harsh
it just
grain.
matures quicker for whatever reason in a whiskey, and wheat does not.
It's softer,
it's softer, right?
Grain.
And it takes a little bit longer for those flavor profiles to just kind of bloom and blossom and become something inside of a barrel.
Right.
Let's nose this wheat. What do you think about this sweet wheat? So we've got the sweet wheat 1792. This is the lowest proof of all of these. What did we say? Was it
That's
a 9?
What I'm saying. It's the
was
Millennium.
Was it 91?
Millennium
91.2
roller
proof.
coaster.
91.2
we went up
proof.
and then we're going right back.
Yeah, we probably should have done this earlier, but it is a different profile. So.
It's a little.
Ooh.
It's very.
the nose
nutty.
is sweet and nutty.
Yes. So I've always said, if you want banana nut bread in a fucking bottle,
banana nut bread. That's a great
banana nut bread in a bottle. It's sweet wheat 1792.
This is you're right. Banana nut bread. That's
great. That's
from a nose perspective.
description.
That's holy shit. Yeah. That's 100%.
100%. 100%. We both agree.
What I'm going to say next. I'm glad I get to sleep. I'm glad I get to sleep in tomorrow because we've done 2 episodes tonight, and this is
sleep in. You normally have like a 6 a.m. or
Wednesday's the one day I don't coach at 6 a.m.
Nice.
Sleeping in too.
Hey, are you the big spoon tonight, or am I the big spoon?
Go to
Little Spoon has some good.
Right. There's the security of being the little spoon, but then there's also
you can fart on the other person.
Right. Yeah. We
were talking about sharding in last week's episode. A little bit of security on the little spoon.
Was that last week's episode, or was that this week's episode? Because I think it was with Tyler. I think it was short stories. So I think it was this week's episode.
I shit the bed again.
Again?
Oh,
wait,
man.
Hold on. Again, from the last time you talked
we need
about
some
it?
details.
Did you hear the last episode where he shit the bed?
Yeah.
It's been 3 or 4 episodes ago.
I'm kind of disgusted, but I need more.
I came home from the hospital with the baby.
Oh, so it's recent.
It's recent.
Oh my God.
It's like I don't know, 3-4 days ago now.
Why didn't you text this to us? Embarrassed?
I just figured that it would wait for the podcast.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
So I got hit with not really like a stomach flu.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that happened was diarrhea. And it wasn't anything besides I literally was on the toilet every 10 minutes.
Side note.
For the entire day.
A lot of these Pepto-Bismol, by the way, the commercials they're running these days, they got random people that got to sing the word diarrhea.
Yes.
Like, how do you sing that straight face?
Hey,
Yes.
Like,
it takes many takes. It takes many takes.
They got to sing it. Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Yeah, they gotta sing that straight face.
You know what they need is the guy that's
they're trying to match pitch.
They need to have the guy putting their finger to their ear like they're listening to the
right. They got head
diarrhea. Like Spinal Tap. You know, Spinal Tap when the guy puts his finger to his ear even though there's no earpiece in, and he's singing.
Diarrhea.
If you've never seen Spinal Tap, you haven't seen Spinal Tap, have you?
It's just one more.
Have you seen it, or are you just quoting it?
No, I've seen it.
You've seen Spinal Tap.
I don't know,
but you know the scene where they're in
the sound rehearsal, the sound check.
And he's just putting his finger to his ear, but there's nothing in his ear, and he's like holding his
yes,
and he's doing like almost like a singing to hear whatever.
So you want to hear the story or what?
Yeah, I do.
So Jillian's obviously like, we have a newborn. Tyler's just on the toilet every 10 minutes, like including overnight. Like, and so she's like, you gotta be on the couch. So obviously I didn't want to, be sick, and I didn't want to risk anyone in the house else getting sick with a newborn, So I went downstairs and slept on the shitty couch in the basement.
Literally the shitty couch.
Yeah. And so the last time I shit myself sleeping, like I was deathly fucking sick. And I was not deathly sick this time. Like I was deathly sick. And this time I just had diarrhea. And the last time I trusted a fart in the middle of my sleep, like half asleep.
That's your first mistake.
Trusted a fart.
That's your first mistake.
Oh shit! Trusted a fart.
Yes, exactly. Trusted a fart in the middle of my sleep after being sick.
In the middle of your sleep, I've never
been there, done
I don't
that.
know that I've ever trusted. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And shit your pants.
Been there, done that.
And shit your pants.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So
this time, like it literally just came out of my body. Not like enough to
Where did
get on my couch.
How did that happen last time? Did it come out of someone else's body?
No, like it just like I farted and it was just like, oh, that's shit.
Side note.
So this time it literally just exited my body. I didn't fart. I didn't try to fart.
Poured out.
It just came out of me.
Wow.
And I was like, I immediately woke up.
Oh my God.
I immediately woke up and was like,
with the headset
I had
in my head.
This might have to be the cold opener, and I might have to skip this.
And I didn't get any. I didn't
Skip
get
all the golf,
anywhere
everything.
else.
This is the opener.
Like there was none on the couch or anything. It's just in my underwear, and I shit myself. And then twice in one night,
we're on the couch and we're shitting ourselves.
Was it all liquid?
Yes, like it's not even.
Oh God!
I have been shitting so much that it's literally just water,
and it's just pouring out.
It's just water.
Oh my God!
It's just water.
Oh my God!
He's like, I'm gonna.
He's got to piss again.
Yeah.
It's like the fourth time that's in.
Yeah, it's okay.
I haven't gotten up yet.
Hey,
I think it's the third.
So, I literally. So then I go go back into my room, grab underwear, go back downstairs. Same thing again, middle of the night.
So you did it twice in the same night.
Twice in the same night.
Oh my God!
Twice in the same night. I've shit myself more times this year than I have in my entire life outside of being an infant.
Oh my God, that's great.
We've talked about this before.
No, but you're burying the lead. You're burying the lead. This should have been the beginning of the episode.
I know.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
I've never shit myself, and in the last 3 months, I've shit myself 3 times. Seriously,
that's hilarious.
And the best part about it is the last time I was sick, like I trusted a fart, and it was like,
God.
But that was funny because I stained the bed. It was dripping everywhere as I was running. This This time it just leaked out of me. It just I'm fat and my orifices could not keep it in.
Oh my God.
My orifices could not keep it in.
Oh, I'm sweating right now from laughing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This was a good one. I'm so upset Brett didn't stay for this.
Banks is laughing too.
Yes.
Oh my God, you missed it. He just admitted he was fat. And it just came out of it just leapt out of him, he said.
Yes.
It's like a demon.
Yeah.
It just had to release itself.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was just like I woke up and I was like,
This was after
I just
Theo
shit
was
myself.
born?
Yeah, this was like
A couple of days ago.
This was like Saturday or Sunday. I
Oh my
forget.
God. Oh fuck. I'm laughing so hard right now. This is hilarious.
So
I just told him he buried the lead. This should have been the opener of the episode. What the hell?
we got a lot of openers here.
Let's taste this.
Oh my God. Have we not tasted this
That's
yet?
a bourbon.
All right. Sweet.
to
Banks, you're back in the room, buddy.
So
Yeah.
if you thought that the nose on this
She hasn't put her paw on me yet, so I'm not full of shit quite yet.
He's coming over to you right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. He's like, well,
But he's sniffing the makers.
yeah, well, he likes
From
bourbon.
last week.
He likes bourbon. He's a big
Yeah,
fan. He's a
good.
big fan.
That was our primer.
This on the palate is even more.
You drank it already?
Yeah, it's
So-
even more.
Nose wise, I think it's outstanding. The wheat side of things really jumps out at you.
The softer notes.
Yeah, it's a softer nose, but it's sweet. It's got a nice, appealing, nose to it.
Inviting, kind of.
Inviting, that's
a good
word, yeah.
If
Good
this
word.
is one of the very first bourbons you've ever had, you'd be like, this is the only thing I'm gonna ever drink.
Oh yeah, you can definitely taste the wheat on the
I
palate.
feel sorry for you if that was the only thing.
No, like,
that's so inclusive.
No,
That's
I'm
so,
saying
but
if this is one of the first
first
things
thing you ever tasted,
If this is like most
would-
people
it
get
would bring
introduced
you into
to
bourbon.
a Woodford, a
that's a very hot
Makers.
topic, by the way. You both lit up.
yeah.
So-
no, listen. We're gonna fight.
So the first thing that you typically, as a Bullet, Makers, Woodford, any of those are your first introduction.
Sure, sure,
Yeah,
Usually
sure.
on the rocks.
Absolutely. For me.
yeah.
Me.
So
Absolutely.
if someone gave you this, you'd be like, again, it's a weeder, so it's that same category, but
It's soft,
also
it smells
sweet.
good.
It's
Yeah.
a lot
not
of flavor.
There's no offensiveness to it. It's
Exactly.
very
Right.
easy to
Not
drink.
very strong. It's not going to intimidate
wheat
you.
But there's a lot of flavor
But
there
us-
too.
But it's so, yeah.
Those of us who are familiar with bourbons, the wheat makes itself present on the tongue. As soon as you taste it, there's a sweetness on the front, and then immediately in the middle of the tongue, the wheat becomes completely evident, and it's like, oh, the wheat's there. It's
Yeah.
right there. And if you're a wheater fan, this is nice. This is really, really nice.
This
and
is
it,
banana
That's why I have
nut
3
brown,
bottles
man.
of them.
I would say that I don't like this as much as the Maker's Mark from last week from the
Yeah.
wood finishing series, but I will say that this is a nice, easy, like you said, more of like an entry bourbon to people.
Perfect.
But the problem
Nail on
is,
the head.
This
Perfect.
is a dessert.
But the
bourbon.
problem
what
is
he
it-
just described there, perfect.
but the
Chef's
problem is the
kiss.
sweet wheat's expensive as shit, so it would never be considered.
Is it?
You'd never. Yeah, it is.
So-
Secondary was.
Wow.
Secondary, it's still.
What did you pay for it? Do you remember?
I picked my 2 off the shelf. I think
In
I was
Ohio?
in Kentucky. No,
Oh, I
I
was
think
gonna
I was
say, I
in
don't even
Kentucky
remember them
around
even.
the Cincinnati airport. I think they were $46.99.
See, for that
What?
price, I
That's
could.
$49.
Right.
I
For
got
that
this
price,
for
I could see that can
$80.
be.
They were not secondary values.
Yeah, I can see that being completely introductory
this is a-
bourbon, prices.
At that price point, this is beyond
For sure.
phenomenal.
Yes.
100%.
This is great.
I think I got this
Great.
for $80.
Yeah,
And I
and
believe
I
it.
think
And I
that's
will
probably
pay-
more.
Because it's such a
I
hard
would-
to come by.
Exactly. I would happy.
I'd pay
bottle.
$70, $80
12
for
year.
this,
I
yeah.
think I traded a Weller Antique for that.
That's a harder to come by. Believe it or not, from my experience, and I live here in Central Ohio, sweet wheat is easier to come by than the age 12
Yes.
year.
Yes.
I would agree with that too. I've never seen the 12-year.
Now,
But I've seen the sweet wheat from time to time.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I have
very sparse time to
It
time.
is, but more so than the 12-year.
the rye and the port finish. I've never had.
I've never seen the port
and
finish.
those have been like astronomically higher.
Mm-hmm.
The high rye and the port finish. I've never seen the port finish. I've never seen the high rye.
I've been priced out of it. I don't
Yeah.
want to experience it.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Especially for this, you're like
Good point.
You're like
That's a
knowing
great
the
point.
profile. Knowing the profile, you're like no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secondary.
Not
bullshit.
a knock on 1792.
No,
not
not
a
at
knock
all.
on
Not at all.
Sazerac. I mean, they're a great distillery. They make great products.
No, you're right.
But for the secondary value, I
Yes.
just don't need to.
Nothing
experience
jumps
that.
out at you at
You know,
for enough.
to give Sazerac plenty
Yeah.
of credit. I mean, this is
100%.
a great lineup, a great
No, it
product.
is. I love 1792, but it's not a secondary,
secondary-
product.
yeah.
It's not a secondary product, in my
Absolutely.
opinion. And that, I think that's the best way to describe it. It's
Absolutely.
not a secondary product.
Yeah.
No.
It's a off-the-shelf product. Every one of their offerings should be off the shelf.
Well, especially when you look at that 12-year, you're like, that's a good 12-year.
Well, think about
but
this.
it's interesting
probably
because-
what it
compare
should be.
Well, we
compare it to
talked-
Weller 12 proof. What do you think about that?
Oh.
Well,
Wait, well, hold
I
up,
know-
hold
I-
up. Weller 12.
12 or
year?
Weller
No,
12.
Yeah, you
12-year 1792 and 12-year Weller. What do you think? I mean,
I fucking very
So-
much think that Weller 12 is
I know
the
they're
most
not
overrated bourbon
fair.
of all fucking time.
however,
Yes, 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 yes.
what does Weller 12 proof cost MSRP?
It's like
Oh,
$30.
yeah.
$35.
What is age 12-year 1792 cost?
That
MSRP?
I don't
that
know.
Probably 50 or 60,
Secondary
right? 50 or
ruined that for
60,
me.
probably,
Yeah,
right?
Maybe.
I know one's a rye based and one's a wheat based, but I mean,
True confession. So the secondary value on the Weller 12 proof,
all Weller.
way up there.
All
I shouldn't
Weller.
say 12
All
proof,
Weller.
12 year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, Weller, but
Way
Weller
up there.
12 is
I was disappointed. I love the Weller foolproof much more than the 12
We
year.
had the
What-
Weller 12 year
it's
last
smooth.
a couple
it's
weeks
smooth.
ago.
It's incredibly smooth.
We had the Weller 12 year a couple years ago, and it was actually, or a couple weeks ago, it was actually really good, but it's just not
For
worth
the
whatever
secondary
more than
value,
its second.
whenever
Yeah.
you like
No.
pair it with anything else, like you
Yeah,
put it in a lineup
it immediately
with,
shows
you're like,
itself.
you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ugh.
Right. No, I get that.
It's just,
All right, let's wrap this up. What do you guys think of this lineup?
it's just again, it's really good.
Rate them.
but
Rate them.
so
Well, I'll let you
I
go first.
so if I had to rate this lineup,
Foolproof and Bottled and Bond were probably my 1 and 2.
Bottled and Bond is going to be number 1.
Okay.
The sweet wheat's always going to have a.
It's different enough that it jumps out.
And banana nut bread is like
Yeah, that's a good
it's
description.
it's such a good
Where do you
thing-
get that on the nose? Which one?
what?
The sweet wheat?
But I get it on the nose and the palate in the sweet wheat.
I don't get it on the palate, but I get it on the nose.
Yeah.
The sweet wheat, I do not get banana nut bread on the palate. I definitely get it on the nose. I 100% agree with you on that. I did not get it on the palate though. But what if you had to rate these MSRP, not secondary? How would you rate these?
So I would still go Bottled and Bond is my favorite.
Okay.
I would then go sweet wheat because I still
Sure.
love that.
No, that's good.
I understand. I really understand why people would not want that, but again, I really like it. Then I would go foolproof. Then I would go 12, and then I would go single barrel.
I'm 100% in agreement with you, except for I would go Bottled and Bond, Foolproof, Sweet Wheat.
Yeah.
So I'll flip those two back and forth.
Interesting.
So Foolproof would be ahead of my Sweet Wheat, then 12-year and single barrel.
And the
What do you
12
think-
year
what do you
for
think,
being
Chris?
second to last is still really good.
No, they're all good. They're all good. Like you said, MSRP, you can't go wrong with any of these.
Yes.
right. MSRP.
What do you think, Chris? How would you
can't-
rate these?
You know, secondary values, they really weigh into this.
They do, but
You gotta
ignore
disregard that.
Yeah,
You gotta disregard it.
MSRP,
That foolproof, it was such a good experience. The smell,
Yeah.
the taste,
Yeah.
the rolling off the tongue, the dragging.
Is that your
we
number
talked
one
about?
then?
Yeah.
So
The
that's your
foolproof.
number one.
Yeah.
Tyler and
Which
mine
is-
was a Bottled and Bond.
Which is interesting. I will caveat that. I'm not a foolproof guy. I
Sure.
mentioned
You've
last
mentioned
week
that. Yeah.
I'm not a cowboy whiskey kind of guy. I'm not like a foolproof, give me the fire, give me the
Yeah.
heat kind of guy. That foolproof, really good.
Yeah. And it surprised me at 125 proof. I didn't think it was that high.
No,
actually.
it kind of punches lower.
It does.
Than what it
I agree with that
advertises.
completely.
It's
Yeah.
not 125, like 125 proof.
What's your next one of
the sweet wheat?
Sweet wheat?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what was your third?
Age 12.
Okay.
12 year.
Then?
Bottle and bond.
And then, okay.
Yep.
So your bottle and bond was a little lower than what Tyler and I's was, but
Yep.
for the most part, I think
But
our top four were very, very similar.
I would say the bottle and bond, I don't want to treat that as like a fourth out of the fifth. It's so great.
I know what you
it's
mean.
so really
no,
good.
No. But to be honest,
I'm a big weeder guy.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think all that makes sense, and we're all very, very similar. The bottle and bond was the one Tyler and I put
It's a
up
wild
front.
card, you know?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So I think we all agree 1792. It's really good. Probably not worth secondaries, but definitely worth shelf prices, MSRP prices.
Sure.
Definitely, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Definitely, probably.
Not even probably.
Probably, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
You definitely probably got that right. So I think, but honestly, I think for MSRPs, 1792s are where it's at. I think they're all valued appropriately for their MSRP. Some of their secondaries are completely absurd.
Yeah.
But for what they're supposed to be bottled and priced at, I think they're all good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, let's wrap this up so you can go have your flatbread.
I'm going to go up there and have my St. Louis style pizza that you don't like. That's going to give you the shits the next day. Make you shit
flatbread
make you shit your pants
7,000 pepperoni on it.
God, I cannot believe you shit your pants again. That is awesome. I'm so
Short
excited about that
story.
story.
Yeah.
We need to
Dead in my
start.
sleep,
We need to start doing like once a month a short story. You just did the farts.
All right. Short
He
stories
hates,
and
hold
Top
on.
Golf.
So Banks hates fart noises. He just did that noise, and Banks got up and started walking out.
Yep.
He's like, I'm out.
Watch. I hate doing this, but watch.
Poor guy.
He hates it.
Poor guy.
He's like,
Poor guy has a torn ACL and he ran faster than he had.
Oh
in
my
the last
gosh, you're
4
right.
years.
Absolutely. That's a great
He's like, how do I get
point.
upstairs? How do I get upstairs? This, it's
Put
this.
the ball up there like, oh my
He's sitting
gosh.
there going, this thing's going sideways. How do I get out of here?
Oh,
Did you see
my
Put him in a room with
goodness.
farts.
He hightailed it, did
He's
he
like,
not?
he's like,
How is this not a highlight on the St. Patty's episode? Wow.
Oh,
Too many
shit.
farts. Too many
All right.
farts. Gotta go.
Yep, too many.
On that note, guys, thanks for joining in. Check us next week when we do who knows what. But I think Virgil Kane's next week because they postponed. So
Nice. We'll see.
yeah. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining in for yet another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. If you like what you hear, please leave us a good rating on Apple, Podbean, Google, or wherever you are listening. It definitely helps us to get great guests on our show. And follow us on Instagram and the Facebooks to keep up to date with what is in our glass. As always, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.